This is Black Diamond Iron Doors, and we are about to install a bifold door. So this is going to be a step-by-step. So if you have any questions on what to do or how to install a bifold, that's what this video is for.
Okay, so first step is, I guess, removing everything from the packaging and making sure that you line up the frame, making sure that everything, that you have the correct pieces everywhere, because this is a breakdown frame. So you have the top side, you have the bottom, and where your active door goes, and where the door opens towards or slides towards. So for the first part, we remove the screws that are currently in place, so we can start assembling our jamb. So it's pretty much plug and play, and after you go ahead and slide it into place, you go ahead and reinsert the screws. So at this point, we're just finishing inserting and installing our screws, fastening them in. Okay, so after we have this frame assembled, the next step is to stand it up and start getting it in place. These tabs have to be on the interior side of the house. Always installed in the interior. And of course, when you have your framing, you have your tabs for the top. Yeah, so this here, just because we have no stud or no wall in place, this is only temporary, just for the support and stability. So this is just for security and stability. So after we got our frame set in and everything is leveled and flush, the next step would be to start bringing the doors in. If you notice on the door, they have, for your latch and your deadbolt, that's the active door. So we would start on the opposite side, towards the side that the door would open, slide towards. So when you start bringing in your doors, and now, once we have them all out here, we'll figure it out together so y'all can kind of get an idea as to what we're looking for to identify which door goes where. If you come, you look at your jamb, you have the door latch and the deadbolt. And so that's, the door that has the bore holes is the active door, which is going to go on, on the side where you have the entries for the deadbolt. So one way to identify the doors here is pretty much based off of this one. If you see this roller catch on this one door, that's what's going to be inserted into the track so that the door can, operate as a bifold. The other one that doesn't have bore holes, for your lock and your latch. So let's go ahead and grab this one, and we will bring it and mount it in place. These hinges, this male goes into the female. Pretty much have to lift it and set it in place. So the object of this is to, pretty much make sure that the hinges pretty much seal the gap in between, make sure that everything's plumb and leveled. So now with the next panel door, the catch for the track is what we're gonna install first in the door. So there's a catch for the bottom, it's already on the door. And there's also a catch for the top middle also, which is this. And the reason that I am removing this roller catch is just because, we have to attach it to our final door. So these roller catches we actually start installing after, we're getting ready to install the last door in place. Right now, the next step right here is to pretty much, this other door also has some hinges that we have to sit this door on. And that's what we will attempt to do now. Hey, Meadow? When we have these two doors up, what I would recommend now is to go ahead and lock the flush bolts, just so that you kind of, the door doesn't move around. So this last door is only going to have one hinge that has a male and a female. The rest of them, we have our screw for the tracks, that it's gonna kind of, just keep the door level and allow it to open and close smoothly. So at this point here, once we got this one in here, our best bet and solution is to kind of support it upwards, leave it inside the tracks. So this screw pretty much has to, be ran through both of these. You insert that part, your other nut, and bring your screw right through there. So at this point, we got the first one in. We don't tighten it just yet until we get the top one in place also. And so then, after we tighten up the top one, we go ahead and tighten our bottom one. You have to tighten until you see, that you get that mobility to open, to close the door, because pretty much what it serves is, the leveler for the bifold. We were able to get these a little bit closer just by, kind of loosening and tightening. You have to have the door in a certain position, for everything to line up. We got the door installed and working properly, everything's swinging. My only and best advice is, before you tighten these to serve these for the tracks, these bolts for the tracks, like over tighten, like sometimes you just kind of have to mess with it, as far as like tightening the top, so that the door doesn't hang or sag as much, but also the bottom, that not everything is so tight down here. It has to have some sort of flexibility and movement so that this wheel can turn, because if not, it just creates a stiffness in the door, because there's essentially, once it's too snug, there's no mobility here anymore. And we are all set. I removed the screws, ready to install the strike plate. There's various kinds. In this instance, it fits perfect here, and that's, exactly where this goes, just because, these has two flat sides, and this one has a little notch in it, I guess, if you may. This goes on the actual door itself for the door latch. Then we grab our other strike plate. This is the wider one that, covers and fills in the bigger gap. Okay, and from here, we will actually move on to the door itself, and we start by adding our latch and our deadbolt. Before anything, we actually have to set these to the correct required measurement for the door. The deadbolt and the latch, as of right now, from factory, they come at 2 3/8 settings, and we need to actually adjust these into the 2 3/4 setting. So for the deadbolt, what you would do is pretty much hold on the side that stays at the side of the door and grab it and twist it either, front or back, but it's going to open and it's going to elongate it. As far as the latch, it's a little more complicated. There's a little lever you lift up, you push the button and pull, and it'll change it from 2 3/8 to 2 3/4 settings. And this is the strike plate that I was telling you about earlier. So this notch actually goes right in between on this one before you install this into the door itself. And also when installing this flat side, it should always be facing, I guess, the outside of the house, just to make sure, for the security purposes, because that's, the side that should lock the door and not let it open or release anymore. Okay. And we do the same thing with our deadbolt. Actually keep this. So this one also, it has its sort of marking that tells you which side should go to the top. So you pretty much just install your screws, and you should be good for this step. So what I am looking for at this point, it is Allen wrench. And so with these, what we do, we actually remove these levers, because first of all, they are not in the position that they're going to stay. They're just packaged like this to, conserve space inside the packaging. So you loosen up the bolt that's on the inner part of it. So we go ahead and remove it from both of them. And so out of all these screws, there's actually 2 different sizes that are in here. And the shorter one is for regular doors. Now the longer ones you would use in cases that you have a thermally broken door. So we just pretty much match up all the smaller sizes just because this is a regular door. So from here on out, we just grab our 2 pieces. And of course, this one that has this knob for the deadbolt is always the side that goes inside. The other one with the hole is what faces the outside of the door. So as far as the latch and the deadbolt, they have, you know, holes where everything should be lining up and coinciding, so you can kind of see everything just kind of lines up. So then we take our spindle, which is this part, we stick it right through the middle of the latch, and we make sure, you know, that it's a little bit equal on both sides. So we install this back plate also, and now we go ahead and start guiding our screws to hold our hardware together. We can tighten them a little bit, just not too tight, just enough to keep it together, and you know, so you can continue installing the rest of the hardware. So after we finish with that step, we would go with what's our deadbolt. This, if you can see, it has all these notches. This is made for a length to fit a thermally broken door. Now, deeming that, you know, this is not thermally broken, what I would do, where this first notch is at right here, just bend it, and it's fairly easy to snap. Just a few little bends and you're good and set. And so with this part, what I like to do is turn this one to the right hand side so that it's in place for it to be able to lock your door, because if not, the deadbolt only comes out like halfway. We just got to make sure that this latch catches all the way through. And so what I do here now is just make sure to insert my screws. And so now our last final step is to go ahead and get our levers installed and set in place. Grab our Allen wrench and snug this up. And we proceed to do the same thing on the inside. And hardware is all set.
Now you got to see 2 examples of getting the bifold door installed, but also getting the hardware installed. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us, Black Diamond Iron Doors. You can find us at www.blackdiamondirondoors.com.